We're going to try to put dowsing, use your intent by dowsing, or using dowsing to manifest your intent. So I was inspired by a dowser called, American dowser, I'm sure you've maybe all heard of him, called Raymond Grace.
All hail.
Yeah, all hail, yeah. You can see his personality there, summed up in that picture. His pendulum was a bullet and, on a bit of string. Yeah. So this is what he said at a talk he gave to one of the Canadian Association of Dowsers many, many years ago. And it applies here, to you lot, to us. So some good news and some bad news. There's a very powerful group of people on the earth. The good news is that you, the dowsers, and the bad news is you don't know it yet. Or maybe you do. Yeah. Yeah. That's this book. It's been republished again. That's the old cover version of it. So I think it's 2008. I think I got that one, and he's got another one as well. Which is the techniques that work for me. What got my interest back in 2008 was we were all familiar with dowsing to find things out, to locate lost things, to get yes or no with your pendulum, so the wire rods or the angle rods. And the pendulum, mainly yes or no, but we'll cover that in a minute. A little bit more than yes or no with the pendulum. But it's all about finding things out, getting answers to things. But you can also use it to manifest your intent to change things. So, examples. That's my pointer, but anyway, so you can see that this is from Raymond Grace. I've worked all through it. Transform into harmony in relationships and situations. So you might have a business meeting, or a meeting with they say outlaws, in-laws, family, and it doesn't. It's a little bit of friction there. Is the interview going to go very well? So you can change frequencies and disharmony ahead to make sure it's conducive to harmonious outcomes. So your relatives won't tend to argue as much. Things like that.
It's easy to read.
Yeah, good. Thanks, Nick. So raising the energy level and life force to support healing. At a very simple level, you can just raise your own energy. You can douse your aura before for the diameter, how far it comes out. Then the technique I'll show you in a little bit, and increase your energy, and you feel much better and not so tired. For example, this morning I was sitting down there feeling very tired. And just focus on increasing my energy, which is the technique I'll show you. I no longer felt tired. So from a very practical point of view as well. Adjusting and scrambling disruptive frequencies. Everything is frequencies. So it could be the example I gave you on the outlaws and the meeting, for example. Raymond gives a good example. He helps a lady who had to attend an insurance meeting, and the insurance company weren't going to pay out. They're trying to get out of it as usual. And he worked on it dowsing before, and the insurance lady just turned up and signed the cheque, and one walked out. So things like that. I won't, there's a lot of things I can't cover all of this. We've got like an hour, if that. I'll cover all of this in a workshop which I'm running end of October. But so we'll have some practical work, and I'll cover as much as I can. It is in his book as well. Removing detrimental psychic cords. Well, psychic energy cords between people. Not all, so I say detrimental, but I'll put that in there. Raymond didn't mention specify detrimental, because some cords are good. We have good relationships, don't we? We want to keep those. Changing negative beliefs in others. Again, that's about working with people in groups, in harmony, family relationships, in companies, that sort of thing. Moving energy to influence situations in the future. A good example, which he gave, was there was some bear hunting going on in a province somewhere near Canada, and it wasn't really what they wanted to happen. So what Raymond did, or one of his people did, it got some, like a war situation, like a detrimental energy from one area. So it might imagine disharmony in a war or something, and transferred this over to the bear hunt. So that put that into disarray. So everything just fell apart. But things like that. It's a good example he gave. So that's the same thing, moving energy to infinite situations in the future. Balancing auras, again, some auras are out of alignment. For example, you may have too much in the front, not enough at the back. You might have a shock and it might have out of alignment. And again, it's all down to energy as well. We'll have a go at that, hopefully. Do your own and do others as well. Water's a big thing, improving the quantity of water. He did a lot of work with water, and they still do out there. Because pollutant has its own frequency, they're able to clear pollutants from certain dams and rivers. I'll talk about that in a minute. Mita Marceau, the famous water scientist, has done a lot on that. And changing and improving quality of food. This is not new stuff. I mean, you've heard of blessing your food? Yeah, and Jerry Corn talks about this. I've heard it all over the place. Your intent can change the quality of the food as well. It's just a simple blessing. I'll never forget my daughter when she was 6, because when I was into this big time, and went round to my auntie's house Sunday lunch, and my 6-year-old daughter, she's like this over her food. And my auntie goes, "What are you doing, Rich?" She goes, "Blessing my food, silly," she goes. Yeah, my old dear friend Bob Sefton, who Guy mentioned in the Dowsing Research Group, he's passed on a while ago, he's one of my main dowsing mentors. When he retired from Poole Power Station, we actually dowsed for the missing pipes, etc. That's another story. He went to Egypt on a lifetime holiday, and he was blessed all his. You have to be careful. Anything with water over there, you have a funny tummy. So he blessed all his food and water. It was fine. People were falling down sick over the 2 weeks he was there. He got on the plane, forgot to bless his food again, and he went down on the plane. This is nothing new. We just sort of bring it all together. So frequencies. You've heard of some resonance. So you've got 440, 440, and 442. So striking the 440 hertz with a tuning fork, with a hammer, I should say, causes the middle to 1, 2, because it shares the same frequency. Even though they're not touching each other, they will vibrate. Tune in, just up. And there's one with the opera singer. Remember heard the opera singer shattering the wine glass? Yeah, just to get just the right frequency to resonate with that particular wine glass, it will shatter. If ever you've been in a high street somewhere, I've sat in a cafe in a high street, for example, and there's various cars, various lorries going past. Only some lorries, probably one or two around them, will get the big pane of glass to vibrate in front of the shop. Yeah, if it vibrated anymore, maybe it would shatter, but yeah. Right, this is all going to explain how this dowsing for intent works. So, heard of Masaru Emoto, famous Japanese scientist who did experiments. He would freeze water in order to get ice crystals. It's a very specialist technique he pioneered. He's passed on now. And what he would do, he would put some water in a jar or a file, like on the right-hand side there, and write something on it, like he's right there, "You fool," or "Love and gratitude," and then freeze that water in that container and look at the ice crystals, and amazing things would happen. So by writing the words on the water, he's putting a frequency into that water, because everything has a frequency, even words have frequencies in meaning. So on the left you've got love, perfect crystal almost, perfect crystal, thank you. Then on the one, I hate you. And if you were to take polluted water from a dam or river, it would put much more like, I hate you. There's a few points. So intention. This focus is a way of giving energy. So when you're using your dowsing, it's a way of focusing your intention. It's not the actual dowsing. The dowsing is used to focus your intention, and it lets you know what you need to dowse on. Check, for example, how good is your aura? What sort of pollution level have you got? Then you can put your intention and change it. Then check it again with your dowsing. And it's all about visualization. You know, that's what we do. We dowse. We ask a question. We want to visualize underground pipe. We need to visualize, a clay pipe, hollow, and so many feet of ground, whatever. And it's a visualization technique. If we're looking for underground water, we visualize that. If we're looking for water in a pipe, we visualize water flowing through a pipe. So it's all mind exercises. And he will program water because say water is programmable, like in homeopathy. And this is an interesting one. Programmed water with love helps prevent effective microwaves and ELFs. So what Guy was talking about, ELFs. So if you bless yourself, the famous dowser Jerry Corn did a course of his, if you bless yourself, it protects you against harmful radiation, or potentially protects you to a greater degree. So he would put blessed water, check the crystals, check it, then he would put water next to a radio or a mobile phone and do the same thing, and he found that the electromagnetic radiation would actually, if the water had been blessed beforehand, it would be protected. The crystals would be almost perfect, almost. And this is not new stuff, as I'm saying again. You remember any of those books? So you got The Secret, came out a while ago. It's all about people who draw vision boards, visualising what they want out of life. Noel Edmonds is into that and sort of thing. You focus what you want, and it comes into it manifests. And if you focus on what you don't want, that manifests as well. So I haven't got enough money, this relationship's not working out, I hate my job, and that's all you focus on. It's going to bring more of that into your life. If you focus on what you do want, it'll come out, and just visualise it like it's already happened. So power versus force, Dr. R. Hawkins. He would use kinesiology to test frequencies. So anything above 200 in his measurements is a positive frequency. Gives you strength. And Earl Nightingale, I'll put that up there. He's back from the 30s, a famous personal development guru, but he gives a good example of how to get parking spaces. And we used to do this in Wessex Dowsers 25 years ago, and it works like this. And don't ask me how it works, it's all about intent, but it works. Lots of people who have never dowsed, don't dowse, never heard of dowse and use it, it works. You want to get, I'll give you an example. So a guy wanted to, what was it? It was Earl actually. He wanted to get, his wife wanted to go, no, he wanted to go to a downtown bank in New York, and it's impossible to park downtown New York outside a bank in the middle of the day. So he visualised a car parking space, and his friend went with him. He was very sceptical, it's not going to work, you're an idiot. So he gets to the bank, no parking spaces. All of a sudden, at instant, 2 cars pull out, and he pulls in. And the guy goes, it didn't work, you had 2, not 1. He goes, that's my parking space, that wants to show it works. But we used to do it all the time, visualise a car parking space. So that's, I could use it in my dowsing, I could use dowsing to help me focus on that, and I'll show you about that in a minute. But
I've done that in London.
Yeah.
Creative parking space.
Yeah.
When I've been late getting somewhere.
Also, restaurants. How to get a place in a restaurant?
Don't go to them very often.
No, he does the food. But well, that's just these examples of manifesting your intent, which is what we're talking about. So it's nothing new, just bringing dowsing into it. Okay. I did have something about dowsing somewhere. Yeah. Okay. Oh, nothing new, again, nothing new. You've got Albert Einstein. Everything is energy. That's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. It can also be, so yeah, even Albert Einstein endorsed dowsing as well, didn't he? Maybe he said, yeah. Okie dokie. So, I'm conscious of the time. So we've got a yes or no response. You've all got that. I'm assuming there's no real beginners here, so we'll skip over that. We can use a pendulum on a chart. We can use a major rosette or a colour chart to get the colour. Map dowsing. So when we're map dowsing, so we're introduced what we call waiting mode. So we're going along, sort of up So we're waiting. You all have different ways of doing it. This is how I do it. So if I'm going up from left to right, that's called my waiting mode. So it's just waiting for it to change. Okay. So when I get to the point where I've located something on the left, it will then do that. I then go along the bottom, and I'll get another. So that's what we call waiting mode. And there's working mode, which you come to with dowsing for intent. So it's a dowsing movement, which is going to help you focus on moving intent to something, and it's going to tell you when it's done. So, for example, let's focus on putting energy into, the feet. That's a good way of doing it. All right. So, what would be working mode for you? So, I'll give you an example. So, I'm standing here, and I want to put some energy into my feet, just as an example. They're a bit cold, right? So this is what I'm doing. I'm tell my pedal to go backwards and forwards as I'm focusing energy going into my feet. So it's helping me focus on doing that. When my feet have got hot enough and it's done, it'll change to this way. All right? You may have your own way of doing it. It's just I'm showing one way to do it. And if you find a better way, of course, then you should do that. Use that way. So try it out. So it's a visualization technique. Okay. So where's the energy coming from to go into your feet? You can visualize it coming down, above and through your body into your feet. You can visualize it coming out of the earth, might be easier, into your feet. How would you see the energy? To me, it's like a white light. You can see it some other way. It might be like a greenish, brownish if it's from the earth. So whilst I'm visualizing that, I'm visualizing, it's just my working mode. Do you get me? Have a go. And when it's done, it'll change reaction mode, just goes to yes mode. So you know it's done. And hopefully you'll get some dual feedback. You'll feel your feet getting a bit warmer.